Hi guys, it's playtime again. On Which Craft Do You Do? I saw a cool video about making wire words and I just had to try it, and then now I have to share it with you. Oh, of course, I'll put all the links down below. She had made, and she sells these in her, I assume, her Etsy shop, so please do go check them out if you don't wish to make them yourself. But I just had to try. She makes these little wired frames, and I thought it was just brilliant idea. So of course I had to give it a try, and put my own spin on things. So grab your cup of coffee or your supplies, and you can play along with me. What you're first going to need is some wire. Please don't ask me what gauge these are. I have no idea. This one I found in the garden shed. As you can see, it's a little thicker, but I can still bend it easy. And this one is really thin, so this one I don't think would work unless if I doubled it up. But I just wanted to show you that I would say is too thin. Then I had this copper one. It's like a medium. That will work because it's also easy to bend. And I just found this black one, so I thought, oh, I'm going to try, see what black looks like. And then this gold one. This is like 100 years old in my stash. And it says in here, this is still from when I lived in America. 26 gauge by Darcy. Oh, here. 26 gauge. If that tells you anything, that will work. But I might want to go a little stiffer. But I think that will work too. So we need some wire cutters, and these round ones, don't know what they're called, a water brush. I'm using glitter glue, which I've put in a small bottle, a little hammer if we want to flatten stuff out. And then you're going to need something to create these little frames. I was testing out what I had around the craft room, and this is what I came up with, and I'm going to show you how we're going to make them. What I use, I look for different kinds of blocks, stamp blocks. I have all kinds of shapes here I found. Long ones, square ones, big ones. You can even use this part from your blending tool to get a circle, or lids on bottles. Anything. I didn't have anything over. Oh, wonder if I could use the end of the handle. Now I see that's ovalish. I was going to say I didn't find anything oval, but from a circle I can stretch it and make it oval. So we're going to need things like that. You'll be surprised. If you look around, you're going to see stuff, like I said. But you may have some wooden blocks, or wooden stamps. I wouldn't go super big because I find they look nicer when they're a little smaller. Okay, so we have that. Now, the next thing you're going to need is something to put in them. She uses mostly book pages and music pages. But since we have so much paper in our stashes, I had to pull out everything. Of course, book pages are fantastic. That created, from this antique book, that created these ones, which I just love. And what are the odds of finding LS, my initials, in a book from 1897? Yeah, I was really happy with that. So we have book pages. And, oh, music. Here, let me get these ones out. You can see these are the ones I use. Music pages to create ones like this. So this got me thinking, it's not, instead of just using music pages and book pages, I figured if you're like me, you have a lot of printed digitals, and this would be a great time to use some of those. So I took some of the papers I had that I thought might work, and then with my little pre-made frames, which we'll do in a minute, I would audition the papers and see what fit where. And then I would be, that's what I'm going to use. So these are some of the paper. Look for anything. All kinds of, you can add anything, birds, butterflies. But this time I stuck to mostly little motifs, as you see here, or words with Paris. Anything with Paris always is wonderful. Let's see, what else do I have here? Yep. Oh, here's some background pages. I think these would be cool. Also, to put and cut out of them. Or, here we have my favorite little pictures, and you can frame a little girl like I did here. Or if you do, or photographs. Great way to use all those miniature photographs we have. And if you don't have digital papers, I found, I'm sure in some of your books you're going to find art books or any kind of books. You'll find pictures of people, and you can use them. They would look also fantastic. And then last but not least, I thought I have also some already pre-printed, cut out ephemera little pieces like this. Oh, look at this from a book page. Isn't that like perfect? Or these ones here, just for some examples. I could just use parts of it, or this part, or this part, or maybe I prefer to have it as round. Oops. So I want you to look at stuff a little different than just ephemera. Here I have a rectangle one. This is a stamp I have. I stamped it out. So if you don't have any of this, I'm sure you have some stamps. Stamp them out, and you can use them. Here you see I stamped some more things out, and I can use any of these as my focal points. I think they'd be quite cool. Okay, so now that I've shown you what kind of papers to look for or gather up, we're going to get on to the fun part, making these little wires. I think I'm going to try to bring you down a little closer. Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay, let's start. Take a blending tool, and then, or a cap of a bottle, anything round. I'm starting with the round one since it's easiest. And I'm wrapping the wire around it. And then I'm going to, with my pliers, just twist it a couple times. And then I'm going to, if it's possible, yeah, pull my wire off. And now, with these round pliers, maybe someone could tell me what these are called so I know for the next time. And all I'm going to do is create some like little, let's call them butterfly antennas, little swirly things. Actually, you could create anything that you liked. I'm just twisting them a little. Like, this is hard to do when you can't hold it close to you. And maybe this one, I can either cut it so it's the same height, or in this case, I'm just gonna let it be higher. There you go. Take another shape. Oh, I want to try this black wire since I just got it. Oh, that's pretty soft. Curious how that's going to work. Okay, I'm going to cut off. I'm going to make a square one. And I'm going to cut off a piece about that big. Oh, no, you're not going to be able to see the black on the camera. Okay, let's use this thin gold I have. This should show up better on the camera for you. Okay, on the screen, I should say. I'm going to cut this off. Let's put that on. And now I'm going to wrap this around my item tightly. Use the pliers to twist it off. Try to keep it in the center, but if it's not the end of the world. After all, these are this is art. It's junk journal. We're creating little ephemera pieces. On the corners of the blocks, I try to press a little bit with my fingers so that it takes this really nice square shape. You can use the hammer too. But there. So we have like a little TV with antennas. Whoops. Now I'm going to slide this off. There we go. And voila. Oh, let's see. Can't see anything. Voila. We have a little TV. And just like before, oh, maybe I put the white here. Sometimes I'm just so smart. Maybe you could see it better if I do it with a different background. And then here again, I will either, this one I don't want them so long, so I'm going to twist this off, cut this off, because they're a little too long. And then I'm going to just wrap them to make like an ornamental topping. There you go. Isn't that cute? And then what I do, because from bending them, they're not really that even. I will take a little hammer. Close your ears, or I'll shut the sound off. And I hammer them down a little. I hammer them down so they're a little flat. Okay. So we have it. We have the first little square. He's a little crooked, but I kind of like him. It reminds me kind of the Grinch Who Stole Christmas, those kind of items. Let's see here. Now what should we put in there? Okay. This is the hardest part, is deciding. And like I said, I take, let's say, any digital, and I audition it. Oh, I like that. We're going to go with that, so otherwise I'll take 2 hours. And I lay this on here. And if you remember, I showed you the trick with using one of these things, these water paintbrushes, and for basically fussy cutting out or free cutting out images. And I'm going to, with my water pen, go around my image here where I think I would like it to be. You want it a little bigger, and you can, but in this case, I don't want it to be perfectly straight, and I want this rough edge showing. Later, we can do that, the straight edges, but I'll show you that after. But here, let me just cut this out so it's easier to handle. Oops. And you see, and now I can rip this paper really easily without worrying that it's not going to fit afterwards, because I framed it up. So there we go. Part 1. I hope I explained that. I feel like I'm just babbling away incoherently today. Now I'm going to take my stamping pad and my blender with the pad on it. Oh, what else I was going to recommend? If you're using really thin paper, like some of my book pages are really delicately thin, if you may want to back them with a piece of a little thicker paper, so it's a little more stable. But this is copy paper. Actually, this music paper is good. These books are really thin, but they're from 1800 and, what did I say, 97. So they're, yeah. But you don't have to. Depends on what you're going to do with them. I find these would look great as little tags, or glued in on pages as accent, or just little ephemera. But I'm going to take my little piece, and then I'm going to distress the edges. There we go. Now, take your little frame that you created. Where did I put it? Ah, here. And I'm going to take art glitter glue, and I'm going to go all around. I'm going to put a little bead of art glitter glue on the outside of this frame, on the wire. Okay, can you see that? Little bead will do ya. And now I'm going to place it on my image. Of course, I'm going to get glue where it's not supposed to go, and press down with your fingers. And you see, it should glue right on. Isn't that adorable? And so simple. I thought it was genius. The ladies at Witchcraft Do You Do are geniuses. Okay, now I set that aside to dry. And that's basically it. But, you know, I couldn't stop there. I decided I need to get you some images. And let's see. Let's make a frame. I need something tall. This is from, don't even ask me why I have this. Looks like some kind of a miniature, so it's a brush. But I'm going to, a little chalkboard brush. But I'm going to make a wire with that, like I did here. Oh, let's use the big steel one. Yeah, I think this, like I said, I think this is garden wire. That length should do me. Now with rectangles or squares, especially the rectangles, they can be long or they can be like wide. Oh, here, can't see it. They can be like wide or long. They don't always have to be, let's see, here I have one like this. Oops, I have it like this. Or little, look at this little teeny one. Isn't that adorable? I made that from wrapping it around this edge of the block. And this one, I decided I wasn't going to curl up the wires. I'm just going to leave them like this, and I twisted the top, and then either I can put a paper clip in there or one of those ball pins and attach it to a page. So do I have anything long like that? No, all the photos I have, of course, are going in the other direction. So back to making a new one. So I take my rectangular shape, trying to think of what other items we have around the house that we could use for shapes. If you have any ideas, please leave them in the comment, because I'm sure they'll help others. So got this set up. Pliers, oops, got it. My wrap pliers to make it nice and tight. Can use my little hammer to get those corners nice. Basically like that. Now, carefully slide it off. And we have our rectangle in this case, our shape. What should I do here? Oh, I wanted to make it this way. I'm such a goofball. Okay, put that aside. We do it again. We have enough wire. And nothing like repeating the process. Let's do a littler, smaller one. This is a block from my name, of course. But I do use Liz. I always hated Elizabeth when I was a kid. I'm sure some of you can relate that have shortened your names. Used to get always Queen Elizabeth and Elizabeth Taylor and all that stuff. And as a little girl, I hated him. So I went for Liz. Not that that was much better, because then in high school it became Lizzie Borden. And that was no fun either. But those are the joys of youth. Okay, so now let's wrap this around here. Do try to get in the center, but like I said, if it's not, I don't find it's the end of the world. I actually find it adds a bit of charm to it, because we are not machines and we don't make things perfect. Okay. Okay, that one was a little tight. We're going to have to help it come off. And there we go. We have the rectangle. And I'm going to do a 10. As this time, even though Valentine's Day is over, I'm normally not much of a heart person, but we'll pretend today. Not that I don't love romance. I just find sometimes hearts a little, I don't know, kitschish. There. Isn't that cute? It actually looks cute, considering I'm not a heart person. Okay, let's find a picture. What is with me? I did it again. I am just doomed today. And third time should be a charm. Or what do you say? This is how you end up with a ton of these little frames. Okay, cut another wire. Oh my God, this is embarrassing. I might have to cut this part out. Okay, this goes at the top. I want it at the top. Oh, okay, there we go. Wrap it around, and I want it this time at the top, not in the middle. Okay, pliers. Twist. Ta-da. Got it. Press so you have nice corners. Now try to slide it off. Okay. Don't over twist it, because, well, this shape is not flat. It's got like a dent in it, which was not smart on my part. Okay. Loosen it up a bit. Okay. Now this should come up. There. Okay. Now we finally got it the right way up. Let's try this again. I'm going to cut off some of the X's here. Going by just by eyeball. There are no measurements. This is art. We fake it. And I'm going to do the heart here, because I want to put a little girl in here. Oops. Oh, sorry. I'm off screen. I'm going to, well, that bent really horribly. Okay, this is how we fix it. We straighten it out again. And hope you guys can see what I'm doing. I'd hate to redo this video. Can you see I'm bending? Let me try to go even lower. Hang on. Okay. Let's see if this helps. And I'm bending little hearts. A little heart here. And I want the wires together. Okay, now I'm fussing to make it look pretty. But this doesn't have to be pretty, because this can be like folk art. Just there. Does that look okay? Yeah, that looks fine. Now I'm going to hammer this so it's a little flat. Close your ears. There we go. And now back to the searching for a picture. there's this little girl. I thought she was so adorable. So, so I'm going to want her. And when I made these ones, where is she here? And because this is on photo paper, so that's kind of harder to rip. I could technically, but since I would get this outline, I want this picture to be flat, let's say, even with the frame. So I lay it where I think I want it, and then I used a pencil, and I marked it, outlined it a bit. And then with scissors, I cut it out, of course. Approximately on that line, we will trim it or sand it up. Okay, and there. In case this is a dangly, you may want to ink your back so it's not so white, or stamp on it to give it some, make it look prettier. Oh, didn't want to do it on there, but oh well. Okay, now I'm checking how well she fits. Not bad. I'm going to have to trim a little on the top, but be very careful because sometimes you can't add once you've taken away. Now that's crooked. There. But my frame is crooked. Now. Okay, that's going to fit. So now back to the glue. And glue a bit here. And da-da. Oh, ah! Oops. Oops. And I'm going to place it on my little picture. Well, it helps if I place the glue side down. Sometimes I'm so smart. Okay. Okay. I find it's best if you can line up near the top because it's hard to cut there with the scissors. And so if you have excess, do it on the bottom. And then with my little hammer, or you can do it with your fingers, I tap it down. Just so it holds, and bending it a little to back, towards the back will help it lay flat. And now I'm going to let this dry before I trim off and sand off any excess because, yeah, because otherwise it's going to come up. There, that one's drying. That one's already done. Now, while that one's drying, the next thing I did is, once I made a few of them, I said, that's fun. What else can we do with this? I decided to, once again, maybe to emboss them with this embossing enamel, the ultra thick embossing enamel. Any clear embossing enamel will work. I just have that, so I'm trying to use it all up. And you see here, I did the circle. And for the circle, as I said, I didn't have an oval, but I may have to try on the end of the hammer. I just took my circle shape and I stretched it a bit. And that gave me a bit of an oval shape, enough to work with. So let's see on what I have here. Okay, I'm going to go with this lady for a change of place instead of everything being so grungy. And her, I want cut out smooth. So once again, I'm going to draw a pencil line around the shape and cut that out. Where's the scissors? Here they are. I'm going to prepare her so she can dry. Okay, get this off. And now a little glue on this oval one. Oops, I'm out of screenshot again. Little glue. And I'm going to glue her down. You could put a picture of your hubby in there, or your best friend, or your cat or dog. Wouldn't that be adorable? Or little flowers. I think anything could be in here, not in these little tiny frames. I just love the idea. Okay, so we're letting that dry for a minute, so I'm going to spring back to this one. Let me close the glue bottom. And where I had extra paper, I will trim it off. Okay, can bend this up a bit out of the way. There, bend it down. Oh, that was also a tip. That was also a tip they recommended on Witchcraft Do You Do, is when you got laying it down to dry, she lifted up the little swirly part, and that automatically presses the frame downwards. So it helps it to dry. Then you don't have to bang it with a hammer like I do. Okay, so we have this, and then if you happen to have one of those little Tim Holtz sanding disc thingamajiggies, you can use that. Or if you have a little sanding block or a piece of sanding paper. I go around the edge and I sand it a bit to make it like even with the frame. Let's see here, I like sand up the excess. Move that out of my way and sand that. You do not have to be perfect with this because these are supposed to be antique-y, old, junk journalish, rustic. Now where is my inker? Here's my inker. And I will ink up the edges because, you know, we just hate white paper edges. And maybe a little more there. Oops, and I bent my little heart, put it back, and voila. Isn't that adorable? And wasn't that super easy? I think it was easy. There's that one. And is this one dry? Oh, pretty much dry enough. Now I'm going to trim, once again, I'm going to trim this one, the excess away. Because I want these to be more like little cameo effects. And there. Of course, inky, inky, inky. Okay, now we're going to emboss. So get my embossing tray, get this stuff. I'm using the little dabber just because it's easier to put it in this little frame. And then I dab a little embossing fluid, dab it around, put it on my tray. I add my enamel powder. Like I said, you could use normal embossing powder. This just gives it a shinier coat, and I have it. I don't have just clear embossing powder. Put that aside. And I'm going to melt this. Close your ears. Let me... See, it's melting. And it's, melted. While it's still hot, you can dunk it in the embossing powder, because the other embossing powder is still soft, wet. Now, don't touch it. Let it cool. Okay. So let me show you again. With these fun, funky wires, you can make so many. Here's our other little girl. Here we go. Cool frames. Okay. She's cooled off now. I can straighten her antennas. And there she goes. See, so it doesn't have to just be all antique-y. And, oops. And there's the fun, funky frames. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, don't forget to, comment, thumbs up, like, all that. And be sure to stop by Witchcraft You Do and thank her for this brilliant idea. Like I said, I'll link everything down below. And if you have any questions, ask. And until the next time, tschüss.